Hi friends, I hope that you're having a good day. We're gonna do a little bit of a mindfulness kind of check-in, and I'm gonna share some stuff that I've been using for classes at yoga, a thought that I had and shared for my yoga class yesterday morning. So I'm Alicia, and this is my channel, Alicia Rose Yoga, my account, wherever you're seeing this from. And I teach yoga in Salt Lake City, Utah at Full Circle Yoga and Therapy. And I highly recommend that space, even if you can't go to one of my offerings. Just the people there, all of the teachers are wonderful. And if you're looking for a therapist, they have openings there, and they're really just incredible, wonderful people. It's a great space. So looking for yoga, mindfulness, or therapy, Full Circle Yoga and Therapy. All right. With that shameless plug aside for just a wonderful, hopefully supportive, safe space, we'll start to just take a breath and notice what you notice about your experience right now, what you're bringing to this moment, just your breath, where you feel it in your body the most, maybe taking some more intentional, deeper breaths. Letting yourself really notice where you're at mentally, emotionally, physically, maybe noticing something that you've been distracting yourself from and avoiding in your experience, and let yourself actually be with it and breathe with it. Something as simple and as quick as that can just make such a huge difference and help us pivot and shift just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to share from the Dhammapada. It's sayings and different like messages from the Buddha. From and obviously a lot of what the Buddha said originally was passed down by mouth, word of mouth, over and over and over again. It's like the game of telephone. Who knows how much of this is like fully accurate? And this is also a translation. So, taking that as you will, and not saying that this is necessarily meant to be taken as like a religious kind of doctrine. But whatever you get from it that maybe helps you feel supported and helps you in your journey towards a little bit more self-awareness and wisdom, great. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. So just because we're saying that the Buddha said it doesn't mean we have to hold it up on a pedestal and be like, this is the end all be all. Even the Buddha, a lot of what we hear from what the Buddha said was challenging us to experiment for ourselves and recognize for ourselves what's working, what's not working, and not just taking anyone's word for it, figuring it out and testing it for ourselves. So, but this is in the very beginning here with the twin verses. And the first two verses here, they start the exact same. And this first sentence is, our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. So those first two verses, they both have that same sentence. And then the second sentence is a little different. With the first one, we hear, suffering follows an evil thought as the wheels of a cart follow the oxen that draw it. And I'll just say that even that word evil can have a lot of weight, a lot of baggage and connotation for us. So maybe reframing it as you will and as you would like. Maybe instead of an evil thought, it's an unsupportive thought. It's a negative, unkind thought, something that that's making our journey worse rather than better. So, and that image of the suffering follows that negative thought as the wheels of a cart follow the oxen that draw it. It's like pulling us in a certain direction, and it's like the wheels of the cart. You can imagine that they create those divots and like the and grooves in the road, and it's like our neuroplasticity, it challenges that, like our negative thoughts. We really trained ourselves to have these neural pathways that just like believe that this is true, and creating more suffering for ourselves and pulling us along in a direction that's not supportive, and we don't even really fully recognize it. And then the second verse, that second sentence here, it says, joy follows a pure thought like a shadow that never leaves. So joy, you can imagine that following a pure thought, and we could say that as well as maybe a more of a supportive thought, an enlivening, an uplifting thought. And how it follows like a shadow that never leaves. And that shadow, there's not the same connotation of like being dragged along. It's very light. We kind of take our shadow for granted. It's just always there, and it's a part of our physical experience, and the fact that we're material beings and there's light, and then that creates and casts a shadow. It's not heavy. It's just there with the flow of life and experience, and so that joy can just be there as well. So I'll read those both one more time, just all the way through. So, our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Suffering follows an evil thought as the wheels of a cart follow the oxen that draw it. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Joy follows a pure thought like a shadow that never leaves. So maybe today, taking some time to observe and notice our thoughts and how we've created those grooves in our minds of more negative or positive thoughts, and how that affects our breath, our sensations when we have, and like our physical experience. If we have that negative, unsupportive thought that's dragging us along, there can be a lot more tension and clenching in the body, and that holding, that's that tension, contraction. And then when we have a supportive thought, if we have a thought that just follows along with us through the flow of life and acceptance, having more of that joy and lightness of being, there's automatically maybe a little bit more of a relaxation and acceptance of a lot of other things going on that are that's just outside of our control. And really, we can't control our thoughts sometimes in the ways that we think we can. Like, our thoughts just appear. And so that's why these mindfulness practices, awareness practices, yoga, breath practice, pranayama, can be so valuable and helpful to cultivate that first step of noticing what we are just taking for granted and not noticing, the clenching in the body, the negative thoughts that we just believe and are dragging us along in life. Can we create a little bit more space with those? Can we recognize them as soon as they show up? And then that's where we get to have a choice. That's where we have to have the awareness first. All right, so with all of that, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'd love to see you in a yoga class, and I hope that this kind of thought was supportive to you. I'd love feedback in the comments, or DM me if you have any questions or just different thoughts to share, and we can start connecting over yoga and mindfulness. So grateful that you took this time to show up and consider some of these thoughts with me. So I hope you have a wonderful day. When I say namaste and when I do a bow, it's truly a practice of appreciation and gratitude. And the part of me that is trying to recognize my light and wisdom and appreciate it, being there, and then recognizing and appreciating the light in anyone else who's showing up and being here with me in that. So, namaste. See you later.